Mr. Mayor, great of you to be here. Thank you very much.
Good to be here, and it's Santa Fe, New Mexico, but that's all right.
Sorry.
We understand it.
It's been that kind of a day.
Right.
So explain to us, if Donald Trump decides to defund the city, which you get about 2% of your federal funds from the federal government, how are you going to defy that? I mean, you need that money, right?
Well, first, it's a long way before that actually happens. And I think the important conversation that needs to happen in America today is how do we go forward and how do we create some type of unified effort to address a broken immigration system at the federal level. It's wrong to penalize cities that have been welcoming and creating opportunities for all citizens regardless of where they come from.
Yeah, but you know the beef. It's also creating opportunities, they say, for illegal immigrants who should not be here and in many cases, in far too many cases, commit violent crimes.
Well, first let's talk about that, because even in Santa Fe, we prioritize going after people that are in our community to commit violent crimes, regardless of their status. The #1 priority of law enforcement in every local community is to keep their community safe. You go after the people who want to do harm, whether they're documented or not documented, we're going to go after them.
But the argument is that it's a magnet for would-be criminals, because they think they have a better shot in a city like Santa Fe than they do in a city that's going to crack down on the presence of undocumented immigrants.
It's an argument in false realities. Study after study have shown that sanctuary cities do not lead to an increase in crime because of the presence of people that are undocumented. This is a broken federal system. People who are living in our communities peacefully, lawfully, want to do so to achieve the American dream. If we fix the federal immigration system, cities won't be having to take on this position to protect our communities. So,
well, that's true, but as you know, these guys can't get any immigration reform done. I mean, that is a pipe dream. It just hasn't happened. It's really not going to happen now.
Look, we have a president.
Donald Trump is saying on his very first day he's going to cancel the federal funding of sanctuary cities. But listen, here, what people think about when they think about sanctuary cities, they think about cases like the Bolognas out in San Francisco. That is in California. And what happened to her poor family, where her husband and her sons were murdered by somebody who should have been deported but was left there thanks to a sanctuary city policy. They think about Kate Steinle and how she was murdered by somebody. The ICE detainer request was not cooperated with, and a young woman was killed. And you can understand why Americans say, we're done. We understand. We were empathetic to the plight of illegal immigrants who come here in a well-meaning way at first, but now we're done because too many people have been hurt.
The violent crimes are horrific, and no one should justify those actions. But the truth is, look at communities like Santa Fe, where we've had these policies in place since 1999. We withered the recession with some of the lowest unemployment. We're marked as a city as creating jobs because of entrepreneurship. Time after time, we've seen success because we've been a welcoming, diversified city that doesn't focus on trying to do the federal government's job.
How do you enforce the sanctuary nature of the city? In other words, do you not ask about immigration status on arrests, or how do you enforce that?
Here's what we don't do. We don't ask people what their immigration status is. We focus on trying to protect our community.
Okay, but let me ask you that. So let's walk through that.
Sure.
So then if a police officer pulls over someone who's in the country illegally, and let's say he's got somebody who is an illegal immigrant, who has committed other crimes, and he doesn't ask, then he's lost a tool that he could use against this prior convict of deportation.
Again, that's not the process that happens. If a police officer pulls someone over for a minor traffic offense, they'll do what they do with everyone else. They'll run a crime background check on him. If that person is tagged, then 100% they'll contact ICE and they'll begin the process of
but if they're tagged, well, if they're not tagged because he's only ever been arrested in Santa Fe and you guys never ask about immigration status, then you perhaps lose a tool to go after him. What if he loses? What if he wins the case against him, the criminal case, but you could still get rid of him? Let's say this guy, he's got 5 arrests for felonies, but he's got a great lawyer. He keeps getting off. Yeah. But you never identify him as an illegal immigrant, so he keeps skipping on and staying in Santa Fe.
Well, once again, we have to look at the realities of what's happened. Since we have been a safe city, a welcoming city, nothing has shown that we've had a rise in crime rates or violent crime as a result of it. Since 1999. If anything, the contrary.
No rise at all.
No rise. People are coming out of the shadows. They're participating in our community. They're sharing information with law enforcement because these families want to make sure that they're living in a safe environment. Okay. So we can't go to the most negative side of things that are kind of conjured up during a campaign. Look, it's time to govern. We're not in the political campaign anymore. We have a Republican incoming president, a Republican Congress. They've talked over and over about fixing our immigration system. They need to do that first so that we can begin to move forward as a country.
Well, that would address a lot of this.
About what's going on in the
They haven't shown any ability.